A very somber morning here in Chicago. Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. Bruce Wolf sitting in for Dan
Hello.
Croft. And two Chicago police officers. We are mourning. They were the death yesterday of those two police officers around 6 p.m. They responded to a call of shots fired in the Rosemore neighborhood, and the officers chased a suspect who had a gun, and they chased him up the train tracks at 103rd and Cottage Grove, and that's where they were both fatally struck by an eastbound South Shoreline train bound for Indiana. Eddie Johnson, the superintendent.
By doing the most dangerous thing any police officer can do, and that is to chase an individual with a gun, these brave young men were consumed with identifying a potential threat to their community and put the safety of others above their own. Unfortunately, we swear that oath, put on that uniform, we know that's a possibility.
And the officers have been identified as 37-year-old Eduardo Marmolejo, father of three, has been with the department for 2 years, and 31-year-old Conrad Gary. He is the father of an infant, and he's been on the force for 18 months. And during this time of just horrific tragedy and profound sadness, the 100 Club provides for the families of first responders who have lost their lives in the line of duty. And with that, we'd like to welcome the CEO and president of the 100 Club, Joe Ahern, back to our airways. Good morning, Mr. Ahern. How are you?
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Bruce. Thank you for having me on.
So today, and when this happens, you get the phone call, and how do you spring into action? What do you do today to help the family members?
Well, I went down to 101st and Dauphin where the crime scene occurred, and then back to headquarters, and now I'm over at District 5, met with the commander to just express the condolences from the 100 Club and from all of us, and that we're representing literally millions of people here in the Chicago area that are mourning the loss of these two police officers. This is, the fifth fatality that they've had in District 5, and sadly we had Commander Bauer, and we just recently had Police Officer Jimenez, who we buried just a couple of weeks ago, and it is just unimaginable that we're having this tragedy now at the end of the year, and we're facing Christmas next week, and we're going to meet with his families, hopefully either today or tomorrow, or I'm going to work with the Chicago Police Department Special Services to coordinate with them and to meet with the family to help provide some financial support and counseling and legal support, whatever we can do. That's our mission. And Amy, sadly, we've got 30 kids in college right now. We provide financial assistance and then college education for the children, but we have 30 kids in college right now that are all sons and daughters of police officers and firefighters that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And but these four children that are left behind, we have 76 kids, sons and daughters that we'll be able to provide college education for in the future, thanks to the support of people that really appreciate and respect our police officers and firefighters and for all they do to save lives and protect our city.
What is it like talking to a family that's just lost an officer in this way?
It is an emotional roller coaster, Bruce. It's unimaginably sad. I always say a prayer before I walk in and ask for some divine guidance from God to be able to say the right thing, because this is the most horrific day in the life of this family, and how do you express your condolences to them, but most importantly, I let them know that I'm there representing literally millions of people whose hearts are pouring out in mourning for their loss and for their sacrifice, and that will be with them forever to help them. Just last Sunday, a week ago, I was at the street dedication for police officer Mike Flisk, who tragically was shot and killed the day after Thanksgiving, 2010, 8 years ago, and here we are, a week later, and with this another tragedy of two police officers, and that we'll be going through this process again. And Mike Fliss had three sons and a daughter. Brian just got on the police academy November 27th. We sent him to college. He went to Ambrose University with a scholarship from the 100 Club and got a degree in criminal justice and joined the police academy like his dad. And his brother, Michael John's a firefighter, and Peg is a prosecutor.
Wow.
These are great American families, and sadly it just keeps on happening time and time again. But thank God we have people that support our mission, that we can continue to help these families.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, before we end this interview, ways people can help. But you said you were at the 5th District. What are you hearing about Officers Marmolejo and Conrad Gary?
Well, first, these are two young men. They've been on the force, both of them, less than, 3 years, one 2.5 years and one a year. And it's everybody's in shock, and you can imagine this 5th District has just experienced a profound loss over the last, this last year. And meeting with the commander, he's obviously trying to provide support for these men and women that continue to serve us. It's tough. There's no place to turn. There's no book that you can turn to, perhaps other than your Bible, to give you some advice and counseling about the right thing to do. This is very, very difficult for this police department.
Yeah, and since it has been such a immensely difficult year for the Chicago Police Department, and and the 100 Club, you guys are here to, as you mentioned, provide counseling to help with funeral costs, and more importantly, to put these kids through college to see that they're still part of the family years from now. How can people help the 100 Club, and where can we make donations?
Well, Amy, they could go to the 100clubchicago.org and follow the prompts and to make a donation, and we would greatly appreciate that, because it allows us to continue to do our support for these families, and then even more importantly is if you see a police officer or a firefighter today and these next couple of weeks and in the future, they go up and thank them for their service. They don't hear it enough. They just don't hear it enough, and let them know that, boy, if it wasn't for you and your sacrifice, the commitment that you make to protect all of us, just think where we would be in this community. So I urge everyone to support our police officers or our firefighters, and if you can find a way to make a donation to the 100 Club, we'd also greatly appreciate that.
All right, thank you so much, and Godspeed. God bless you and the work that you're doing. CEO Joe Ahern of the 100 Club. And to make a donation, you can go to the 100clubchicago.org. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahern.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Amy.
He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.